From Tally to Cali,
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up! Wake up!
Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, fueled by DeLuna Coffee.
Coffee's for closers only.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hajavandi
And Corey Clark.
Just feel like dancing tonight, Corey Clark. How are you, man? What's up? I just feel like dancing.
I'm good, buddy. I'm good. I don't know if I'm going to be dancing, but I feel good. I feel all right. How do I look?
You look great.
Lighting-wise. Obviously, I know I look great.
Great, man. Just, well lit. Brings out all your beauty. All your features are that much more pronounced. It is Wake Up.
Look at the drapes. Look at the drapes, Aslan.
Yeah. It's Wake Up Warchant, fueled by DeLuna Coffee, DeLunaCoffee.com. Come explore our world of coffee.
Once it hits your lips, it's so good.
Use the promo code WARCHANT15 for a discount over at DeLunaCoffee.com. They also are getting ready to unveil some new tumblers that are branded with the great DeLuna logo as well as Wake Up Warchant. So you can order that, get your delicious coffee. Maybe you want the Fat Albert, the K-Cups, by the way. Buy one, get one free, or BOGO, as they say in the industry. Try the Midnight Shift coffee as well. Proceeds from that help donate and benefit causes close to the Pensacola Police Department. So that's super cool. Corey, you already said you're great, but just want to make sure you're great. You know that Baylor and West Virginia are playing a live basketball game right now?
Yeah, I watched a lot of the first half of it. And then after that, it's Illinois and Michigan. So it's like 4 of the top 6 teams in the country play back-to-back. It's odd that it's 5 o'clock that you're playing like number 3 versus number 6 at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. But what are you going to do?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a weird year. It's a weird year, folks.
It is. We're going to have another preview dropping for the spring football season. We're going position by position. Linebackers, I think, are on deck. Gene Williams has got a full write-up of that, so do check out warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source. Thumbs up, everybody, by the way. In the Wind knows what the deal is. Hit the like button. That just kind of puts this video at the front page of youtube.com. So then people are like, oh, wow, there's people that love Florida State that do nothing but talk about Florida State pretty much every single day. Yeah, that's us. It's what we do. We also take phone calls. We'll get to that in a short second. But Pacific Northwest Noles says, Corey, nice AirPod looking sleek.
It's hit or miss, man. Sometimes they work well with my computer. Sometimes they don't. I feel like I'm starting to get the hang of it. I tried it today on Seminole Headlines, and it was a disaster. I had to just like throw them away, throw them on the ground. But for this one, I feel like they're doing all right so far. Okay. But you say some people can use them as microphones, but I don't. Apparently, it doesn't sound great when I try it.
Yeah, maybe not. I mean, when I'm watching national networks, I'm watching ESPN and other places, you see reporters on camera with AirPods, but maybe they have their microphone hidden, kind of like you do, but they're just using that as their
right.
ISP so they can hear themselves and hear their producer saying, hey, wrap it up. But we never tell Corey to wrap it up on the program. It's all about Corey all day, every day. Let's get this party started. Garrett Snowles in the house. Come on, man. Aslan, figure out your job. Aslan.
Dollar bills, y'all.
$20 from Garrett Knowles. Thanks, Garrett. Oh, it's weird saying your name plural. Like Corey's. Thanks, Corey's. But nonetheless, we appreciate you. Hey, how's it going? Going pretty good. I'm over this rainy gloominess, though, but I think the sun's coming back out in Tallahassee tomorrow. I'm really curious. Are y'all going to be filming at the spring practice on March 9th? Go Noles. Probably not. We're going to try, though. Know that the people who care about you most, Gene Williams, founder and administrator of warchant.com, want to go to battle, but they definitely want to lobby as hard as possible to try to get access, whether it's photographs or video. I don't think they're going to let us do it, but I mean, if they tell me that I can, I'll be out there filming.
I would. It's going to be an interesting spring. I don't know if people saw, but that Joe Biden came out today and said that by the end of May, 300 million Americans should be vaccinated, or they'll have enough shots for that. So we all, if we want one, which hopefully you do, but if we want one, we should all be vaccinated by the end of May. And just the way things seem to be going, you don't want to say mission accomplished above you quite yet, but it seems to be trending in the right direction. And Mike Norvell is so media friendly, or we were led to believe, and he has been. I mean, like we said, we talked to 50, 60 players last year. it would be nice if we could get some video footage, even if they don't want us out there. Like if we're in masks and we're 100 yards away, or we're in the baseball stadium on top looking out, I don't really see the problem with that, at least from safety precaution scenario. So hopefully there can be a meeting of the minds and we can figure something else out. Because again, it's what we like to give the people what they want. And I think Mike Norvell likes to give the people what they want. And now that we have a seemingly much better handle on this and what should and shouldn't happen, yeah, man, there should at least be one video or photographer guy out there at practice for a little bit to get some footage, to get some video. Hopefully that's you, Aslan. You like getting up early, right? Or you said in the spring, he's more of an afternoon guy in the spring.
Yeah, he was historically, at least at Memphis, they practice in the afternoon during spring, during football season in the morning. So yeah, I mean, if they want me to go to Hauser, I'll wear my mask. I'll perch up top there and I'll film some video and we'll see how it goes. But right now I'm not holding out. But I don't know. Texas just went ahead and announced they're going to 100%. All their businesses, mask mandates going away next week. Alabama's planning for full capacity in Bryant-Denny Stadium. So we never thought we were going to make it. We're such a dramatic people these days. We have no fortitude, but we're getting there. Hopefully we can see it through and get on the other side of this all good and good. Garrett's Knowles, thank you, man. Eric Angel, what's going on, Eric? Dropping bones. Let's go.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Straight cash, homie.
What's up, guys? What's up, Eric?
What's up, Eric? Thank you very much, buddy. Thank you for real.
Goals going all the way this season. Playoffs, title game, bringing it back to Tallahassee. Get fired up.
Is he screwing with us?
No, man.
Do you think he's screwing with us?
This is our time. It ain't their time. It's our time.
Yeah.
He's ready for it.
I don't know if they're bound for the playoffs. Let's hope they're bound for a bowl. I think that's where the starting off point. You're bound for a bowl, and then maybe next year, the year after that, you're bound for the playoffs. But yeah, they're again with the kid they got yesterday or 2 days ago now at this point on Sunday night. Man, it sure seems like there's some momentum going. There's some momentum percolating with this program, and it just get off to a good start next year. Win 6, 7, 8 games. Keep these kids in the boat, and then you might be on to something.
If they beat Notre Dame, though, be prepared for at least 5 episodes of playoff discussion on this podcast. Legitimate, sincere podcast, playoff talk from at least one person on the podcast.
Right,
be prepared.
And not the person talking right now, but the other person that just talked will be giving a lot of playoff scenarios, I bet.
Absolutely.
Hey
Eric,
man, I'll be excited, though.
Yeah. We're going to get the phone calls with then cousin Shane Kirkley. Shane, what are you doing?
What?
Shane!
What?
Let's go, Shane!
Straight cash, homie.
I got to hit everything.
Dollar
200
bills, y'all.
American dollars. 200.
Big ballin', smashing, making my ears.
Corey, 200.
I don't even know what to say, especially his 613. Like that's right out of the gate strong coming with that. Shane, incredible. That's way too kind and too generous. It's very appreciated. That's nuts that there are people out there like you that are as giving as you. That means a lot. Thank you very much. And I do want to say, Shane, for real. So what we're going to be trying to do, I mentioned it, I don't know, maybe a month ago. We are going to try to set up, I think, at least one show a month where every single dollar goes to a charity. And we have to figure out the charities we want. And my biggest concern is you hear all these horror stories about charities that all the money goes to the overhead or it goes to the executive director. And we want to make sure we're picking charities where it goes directly to what the charity is for. So if you have one in mind, if the other pillars of the show have one in mind, feel free to offer one, not offer one, but give us one that you think that would be a good charity. And we'll go from there. We have to work out some things with YouTube to make sure the charity gets all of it, but we are in the process of doing that. So hopefully even as early as next week or the week after, we will be able to do a straight, this is all going to blank charity. And there are a lot of great ones out there. So people, again, we're just overwhelmed by what happens. And we'd love to do some good with it. what you're doing now is great with it. Don't get me wrong. You're doing great with
We're trying to get Aslan a house, man. This is the
yeah.
buyout house.
And that's what most people want is Aslan to have a house that he's bought and paid for. But after, even with that, we can do some other good as well. So hopefully we can get that going very soon. But thank you very much, Shane. That's incredible.
By the way, Shane, Mark as well, be on the lookout in your DMs on Warchant. I'm going to be sending you guys a message. So be on the lookout for that. It's time to reward the pillars, if you know what I'm talking about. So be on the lookout for that. It says he missed the last couple live shows, but I'm back. Where are we with the Warchant swag? Garden Gold game almost here. Well, glad you asked, Shane. You're a pillar. We've got you covered. Check your DMs. I'll be leaving a message for you for said swag. And we should maybe have something available for everybody else potentially at some point, but it's a pilot program. We're slowly leaking this stuff out. But Shane, you're the man. We appreciate you. Hopefully, I'm assuming you have power back now. Hopefully,
man, let's hope.
Water.
And your electric bill isn't $14,000 or whatever you saw those horror stories from the last week.
Man, all right, Shane. You're the man. I mean, I'm going to keep saying it, though. It doesn't change the fact. You're the man. Thank you so much, Shane. We'll take one from Khalil. Khalil's in the crib, and then we'll get to Gator Kirk, who's first in the queue. Khalil got 50 bones for the party. In your opinions, who are the top 10 college quarterbacks from 2000 to 2020? So I guess this millennium. Khalil says Vince Young, Cam Newton, Tim Tebow, Jameis Winston, Deshaun Watson, Trevor Lawrence, Jamarcus Russell, Joe Burrow, Chris Leak, Lamar Jackson. I try to count players who had more than one great season and won championships, with the exception of Lamar Jackson. I wouldn't have Jamarcus Russell on there. I wouldn't have Chris Leak on there.
Those are the two that stand out to me. All the other ones look fine, man. Those are all really good choices. Cam Newton's and Vince Young. Vince Young's 2005 season is just nuts. I mean, it's just crazy. And Cam Newton turned a 7-win team into a national champion with that season. That was incredible what he did. He might have had the best single season, Cam Newton, what he did for that whole program. But all those other ones are fine, except I don't think Chris Leak belongs in there. He was a nice player, but I mean he wasn't incredible. And then Jamarcus Russell didn't quite win enough. I mean, they were decent, right? And he was the number one pick in the draft, but I know his last year at LSU, they lost at Florida, and he didn't play all that well there. Lost to Leak and Tebow, by the way. Is there anybody we're not? Khalil, it's a good question. I love these questions. This is like my bread and butter. Is there anybody we're not thinking of, like right away, like immediately that comes to mind?
I'd say Baker Mayfield, man. I mean, Heisman, playoff, 2 good seasons. I put that ahead of Chris Leak. I mean, I know Chris Leak, but
I put Kyler Murray ahead of Chris Leak. It's just that Kyler Murray played. Did he just play 1 year? Is that right? Did Kyler Murray just start for 1 year at Oklahoma? It was an incredible year, but you obviously got to throw in Jacob Coker. He won 2 national championships.
Put
One at
Jalen
Florida
Hurts.
State.
I put Jalen. If you're talking about championship, I put Jalen Hurts in front of Jamarcus Russell or Chris Leak. I mean, if we're talking about winners. I mean,
No, I wouldn't do that. Jamarcus Russell would have won a championship at Alabama too, and Chris Leak won a championship. So I wouldn't put Jalen Hurts in that list. But I just feel like there's somebody like around the turn of the decade that's like an obvious one that we're just missing. But for right now, that looks like a good list to me, man. Except for Leak and probably Jamarcus. But like I said, Jacob Coker's the only one to win 2 national championships at 2 different schools. So just throwing that out there, guys. I'm just throwing that out there.
Corey's not being sincere.
No, sorry. Well, but thank you very much, Khalil, for the donation, man. That's our tip. God, I keep saying donation. Thank you very much.
A Pac-12 guy out there like Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck.
Yeah, he was good. Leinart, Robert Griffin, Tua. I mean, there have been some. It's a lot. It's a tough one, man. Right off the jump to try to think, especially that's such a long stretch. 20 years. Yeah, it's 22 decades.
All right. We appreciate it.
I think a good question is who's the second best quarterback for Florida State during that time?
Who's the second best?
Yeah. Who would you rank number 2 from 2001 to 2020?
I probably
Ponder?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's.
Jay, I'm that guy.
Yeah, I think it's close. Probably Ponder. EJ won a little bit more and had to play as a freshman. But yeah, probably. You're right. You're right. I guess Ponder had to play one game as a freshman anyway. Anyway, great. Good question, Khalil. Mariota. Yeah.
Mariota.
What'd he ever do? Did he ever play Florida State? I don't remember that game. I don't remember how that went, but I feel like he struggled, if I remember correctly.
Too soon. All right, let's get to the phone lines. We got Gator Kirk, Virginia Beach, Virginia. Gator Kirk, what's up, man?
What's up, gentlemen? How are you doing this evening?
Rocking and rolling.
What's up, Gator Kirk?
Hanging out, living the dream. Living the dream in the 757.
That's what it's all about.
Got to see my Virginia boy pitch the other day twice. Of course, they brought him in a little too late in the 13th, but So anyway, that was good.
Yeah, man.
But you're talking about what to do with the donations. Maybe a food bank, or maybe there's a public school in Tallahassee that could use the donations for whatever thing.
Oh yeah,
they need.
And there's the Boys and Girls Club of the Big Bend, which I think would be a good one. The Boys and Girls Club of the Big Bend would probably be a good one too. But again, we'll hopefully we'll be doing this in perpetuity. So every month or so, we'll have another charity on deck. But yeah, those are definitely good ideas.
Yeah. All right. My question is, if we're going to go to the 4-2-5, does that mean we're not going to have the hybrid linebacker position anymore? If that's going to be our premier defense from all accounts that they've been talking about?
I mean, don't you think they have somebody that's kind of in that role, Aslan? Like somebody that can stand up, occasionally rush the passer, and be out in coverage? Or do you think it'll just be straight? I mean, I can't imagine it'll just be two defensive ends not ever standing up.
Yeah, I mean, but then the question then becomes like, is that Jermaine Johnson then? I don't think Keir Thomas doesn't seem to me to project as a guy that's going to do that role. And Jermaine Johnson came here to rush the quarterback.
Well, I think more about like, what do you do when it's 3rd and 12? Like, what's your defense then? That's not that Florida State got a lot of people into 3rd and long last year. That wasn't really a problem you had to worry about. But if that happens, is Amari Gaynor a guy that's standing up, coming off the edge? I doubt he has his hand in the dirt. But what do you do with somebody like Amari Gaynor? Do you bring him from the outside? Does he play kind of a hybrid? That's what I wonder about on specific downs. But yeah, I guess overall they probably won't be doing a ton of standing up their DNs or having that hybrid role.
I mean, let's just figure out roles for everybody. We don't. There's nobody on this roster that strikes to me as being some kind of like multifaceted Swiss Army knife. Like, we don't need hybrids. Let's have linebackers. Let's have some pass rushers. Let's figure out how to use them. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you go to a 4-2-5, like maybe Amari Gaynor in those certain down and distances becomes a guy that rushes the passer a little bit. But I don't know. I just like the fact that they're going to have Jamie Robinson out there at nickelback, and I like the fact that they're going to have Jermaine Johnson coming off the edge, and I like the fact that, Coop's got some money to be had. So is Fabian Lovett. So those things will interest me more and have me feel more optimistic than whether or not they've got like that freakazoid guy, because they don't have the freakazoid guy that's going to be able to run a hybrid position well. But so what are you on the 4-2-5 Gator Kirk? Do you think that lacking that kind of guy, that hybrid guy that's asking for trouble?
No, I mean, I think it's more with the two linebackers. Then when you're going to kind of play always nickel, you've got to have some guy that's in between, your linebacker and corner that kind of can do it all. I think maybe this year we're going to bring a little more pressure. Obviously, we don't get there with 4, so maybe run some stunts. And with the additions of Johnson and Thomas and some of the other guys and Cooper and I think Gaynor, I mean, we should show a lot of improvement. And God knows we got a ton of corners to have competition. So we will see what happens. But I just like Fuller to do what he said he was going to do, and make the offense play defense.
Yeah.
And that didn't happen last year, but we will see. Hopefully we'll get a full spring starting next Tuesday, and the guys will all competition and everything. It'll improve a lot.
What's your point, man? Jamie Robinson's the hybrid guy. He's between a corner and a linebacker, I think. So at least they got that one covered. But in terms of defensive lineman, linebacker hybrid, I don't quite see what they have right now. But we'll find out soon enough. I think we're going to be able to speak to the coordinators on Friday. So maybe that's something that we'll bring up and we'll broach, huh, Corey?
Yeah, that's something we'll talk about. And then hopefully before the spring game, we'll actually get to see something on a field with our own eyes, and then see what happens after that.
Anything else for us, G?
I hope you I hope you guys at least there's so many media outlets down there, but hopefully they'll at least let one from each one get in there so y'all can get more eyes on, like they let y'all in last year. Of course, it's different. So hopefully as time goes on, you'll get in there. But as always, make sure you guys hit the thumbs up button, support DeLuna, and as always, go Noles. Get excited for March and everything that's going to happen this month. Should be a big month of sports. Y'all have a great night.
Thank you, Gator Kirk. That's Gator Kirk, Virginia Beach, Virginia's own, representing here on the program. We'll get back to the phone lines here shortly. Try to drop him, but he's still on there, and now my computer's going all crazy. All right, there we go. We got a question. Speaking of, it is March after all. Pacific Northwest Noles back, Corey. Why doesn't Scotty Barnes start?
It's what they do, PNW. No, it's what they do. Cabangeli didn't start. Obviously Patrick Williams didn't start, and he was the fourth player of the draft. Look, there's a method to the madness. There's a reasoning to it. Is if you can play level, keep your sea legs with Raekwon Evans starting, and then you bring in this freak off the bench to play against a kid that's already tired, and then you have him in the second half to do the same thing, where instead of playing 36 minutes, Scotty Barnes is playing 27 to 29 minutes, and he's fresher when it matters the most. That's why they do it. I think they like the thought of it's almost like the Princess Bride, to go old school on you, for anybody that's seen it, where they had the sword fight and he's smiling and he's like, "Why are you smiling? I don't understand." He's like, "Well, I know something you don't know. I'm left-handed." And then he switches to his left hand, or I'm not left-handed, I think. It's almost like Florida State wants to play these teams and be like, "Oh, you're feeling okay. You're feeling like you're hanging around. Oh, okay, well, here comes our lottery pick into the game. You were doing okay, but here comes our lottery pick, and then here comes Anthony Polite." I think in Leonard's been talking about this forever, and it's true. He doesn't care really who starts the game. And more often than not, I know I was a little upset by the North Carolina game just because the starting five was so bad in the start of those halves. But normally it works for Florida State. When you think about when they take control of games, it's usually midway through a half. They did it against Carolina in the first half. That game was close. They were down 5-1. The next thing you know, they're up by 16. That's usually what they do. They wear you down in the middle of halves. It just did not. The start of the second half was so bad. It tainted everything you saw after that. But look, that's what they do. They bring him in and he finishes games, which is what Leonard is much more concerned with than who starts games. I just wonder, again, like I said the other night, if you're up by 9 against Michigan to start the second half, do you risk, if Raekwon Evans is still not playing great and Wyatt Wilkes is still what he is on defense, do you risk letting them right back into the game where if you had your best players on the court, you could put your foot on their throat and end it? But it's worked for him, man. They're 14-4. But that's why he doesn't start. I think he did start the season. Then he came in a game, I think it might have been the NC State game, Aslan. You wouldn't remember.
I would.
I don't know what's going on. Aslan he heard something.
Raining again. I'm over this weather. I'm sorry. Continue.
So I think it was the NC State game where he didn't start because he'd had a little bit of an injury. And then he comes into the game and they win by 30. And then Leonard might just be like, "Well, I like this. Let's let Raekwon feel a part of the team. And Raekwon Evans is a nice player. Let him feel a part of the team. Maybe he gets something going. But if he doesn't start out well, okay, well, we got our lottery pick coming in to smooth things over." I don't know. I think that's the rationale. It's going to be interesting how they handle it down the stretch, because you only got Scotty Barnes for about 2 or 3 more weeks. So how much are you still going to play him 22 minutes a game, Or are you looking to bump that up to about 30 to 32 minutes a game? But he finishes games, which when you ask Leonard Hamilton about the starting lineup, he does not care. He gets perturbed by the questions, and he only talks about who finishes games. And Scotty Barnes is on the court at the end.
Pacific Northwest, Noel, thanks, man. It's probably raining over there too, so I shouldn't complain. We appreciate the question and the contribution to the good times that we have here. Let's get back to the phone lines. We got Daryl, Thomasville, North Carolina, in the crib. Daryl, good evening to you. Welcome to the program. How are you, friend?
How you doing, Aslan? How you doing, Corey? Hope y'all having a good evening.
Absolutely.
Good, buddy. Good.
I was listening to Mike Alford speak last night, and he was mentioning, talking about the standalone facilities and a few other things. And I was going to ask you, Corey, have you heard anything about? I know you said something about the Moore Athletic Center not being one of the things that wasn't on the table as far as what they was going to do. So have you heard anything about where the two places he was talking about that they was looking at as far as where they going to put the standalone facility?
No, I have not. I assume we'll all know in due time. They could do the intramural fields, I guess. If otherwise, you're having to tear stuff down. If you're not going to put it in Moore, and you're not going to put it in that little sliver right between the IPF and the what is that, Pensacola? What road is that? Is that Stadium Drive? Yeah. I don't know what else is around. I guess you could have them walk onto another part of campus, but they could take a 30-minute walk. But the only thing that's relatively close is the intramural fields. So I don't know. Maybe they could buy a Mellow Mushroom and turn Burt Reynolds. Maybe they turn Burt Reynolds into it. You know what I mean? Burt Reynolds Hall. That's close enough. You make that the football only facility. But no, I don't know. I do know, Daryl. Like I said a couple weeks ago, I want it to have it obviously needs a petting zoo. That's number one on the list. A flight simulator. People have done that. I'd like a space shuttle simulator. So yeah. So look at that. That's what are we looking at, Aslan? So that's Stadium Drive. That's the IPF.
Yeah.
That's the soccer field. Above it. By the way, they're ranked number one in the country in the preseason, which they still should claim the national championship. There's the baseball field.
Over here to the left of this big barn, which is the IPF. This parking lot, if you will, abutted to Stadium Drive. This was a year and a half ago bandied about as a potential location for a football-only facility. Meanwhile, you have this palatial plot of land called Doak Campbell Stadium and this end zone here that can actually be built higher. You can add like a floor to it. But hey, I'm not an architect.
Hey, so scroll down to the bottom a little more so we can show them where the intramural fields are.
Oh no, man! Stop the intramural. No, man.
Look at that huge space, man. That could be enormous. That could be an airplane hangar. You could have airplanes in there, man. Like screw flight simulators. You can actually fly planes.
But like
Florida State's football facility,
you're gonna have to make a tunnel. Like you're gonna have to dig a tunnel to get to the stadium. You're gonna be crossing the road and going through.
And how cool would that be to have a tunnel underground from your locker room to the standalone facility? I mean, we're talking about cool stuff. That's like El Chapo type stuff, man. That's good stuff. Let's do that. But no, Daryl, to answer the question, I don't know. There aren't. If looking at this, as you can see, they could blow up parking lots. But other than that, there's not a ton of opportunities. It's not like Clemson. Clemson just has acres and acres of farmland. There's a lot of established buildings and sporting fields already in play right by the stadium and right by the locker room.
And my other thing is, I know I talked to somebody at the ticket office today, and they were saying they wouldn't have any kind of information on whether or not they would have tickets or what they was going to do about ticket information until around March the 15th. So I guess we're going to be waiting a little while yet on whether or not to get tickets for the spring game until about the middle of the month. So I just going to let some of the fans know about that in case they didn't know. And I know one thing Mike Alford said about that was another thing was a couple of the players were saying last night that they weren't going to start practice until the 10th. Did you know anything about that instead of the night?
No, I mean they're supposed to. What is that? They're supposed to start the 6th, right, Aslan?
No, I thought it's supposed to be the 10th. I was at Gene earlier on the linebacker video and said March.
Oh yeah, you're right. I don't know why I said the 6th. The 6th would So I guess it could be the 9th or the 10th. Again, we'll know. They'll get all 15 practices in, and then they'll have the spring game whenever they schedule that for April something. I do think. Look, man, I just think there's no way they're not going to sell some tickets to the spring game. They're not going to do like what Florida did, and I think there's a good chance Florida might go back on what they decided a month ago and decide to have people in the stands again. So we'll see. But I'm sure we'll get a list here soon, very soon, maybe in the next couple of days. We'll get a tentative schedule of everything that's going to happen in the spring and all the dates.
I got my hotel already reserved in case, and I'm hoping to get my tickets in case they have the spring game and everything. So I'm ready to go. I'm ready to see some Noles football, and just want to let y'all know that I enjoyed the show, and I enjoy talking to y'all each and every week. And I thank y'all for putting things together the way y'all do. Aslan, you're doing a great job, buddy. Keep doing a great job, and y'all drink that diluted coffee. Hit that likes button. I know we got more than 66 people in this thing, so hit that likes button and sign up for warchant.com and go Noles.
Let's go, Corey. It's Daryl, Thomasville, North Carolina.
Always bringing it. And hey, how about complimenting you? That was nice of them.
That was. Thank you, Daryl. Appreciate it. I'm trying to feel like calling Ira, just be like March 9th or 10th, final answer. But I'm not going to do that. Let him breathe for once.
I mean, it doesn't really matter, does it? Oh, okay, there we go.
Joseph Arway's in the house. Let me see what I do. Rocket City Noel in the house. I can't. His voice is just too smooth. I can't do it justice. He's been trying to call, but the line is mad busy. My question and comment is: out of the big three schools, that is Miami, Florida, and Florida State, who do you think will win a national championship first? Peace out. #real pillar.
Yeah, you ain't lying, Joseph. Rocket City in the house. That's right. Huntsville, Alabama, for the people that don't know. Great Huntsville, Alabama.
Stand up.
I assume that's the site of the great 80s movie Space Camp, where the kids accidentally start the space shuttle and go into space. Kate Capshaw's in it. A young Joaquin Phoenix is in it. Good stuff. Leah Thompson. I would say, man, out of that group, man, I'm sure I'm being a homer, but I just think if we're going by recent history, I think it's easier to win a national championship at Florida State. I don't think since Miami left the Big East, they haven't sniffed one. And have not even won a conference championship. So I don't think they're much of a threat. I could be wrong. I'll knock on wood there. I don't think they're much of a threat. Florida is a threat, but they play in a tough conference. And seemingly, as long as Mullen's there, they're going to have to play. They're going to have to play Alabama just to get to the playoffs, probably in a SEC championship game. So I do think FSU has the easiest course because I think we all know they're in an easier conference, and I think they're more established in winning here recently than Miami is. But that could be Homer thinking. That's a tough question. But since it's unanswerable at this point, I'm still going to err with Florida State. Right? Don't you think they have an easier road than Florida?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like Florida has to play Georgia. Florida has to play sometimes Alabama, Auburn, also Florida State.
But
Florida State.
Though, they had 2 losses and they still could have made it into the playoff.
That was a weird season, and I don't even know if that's true, but that was a weird season. This was a weird season. When it gets expanded, they will have, once it gets expanded here, they will have an easier chance. But I also think Florida State will have an easier chance to get in. So, and once you get in, it's coin flip. But I'm going to go with the Noles, especially if we believe Norvell's got this thing on an upward trajectory, and Dan Mullen doesn't. But hey, man, he's had a good team the last couple of years. Can't argue that.
Joseph, thank you, man. Appreciate you. Khalil's back in the house.
Dollar bills, y'all.
50 more bones. Khalil, you can just post the question, man.
Yeah, next time, Khalil, just post the question, buddy. You don't have to keep doing that. That's awesome, though, that you do. I'm really excited about when we do a charity, what that's going to do. I think we can make a real difference, Aslan. I'm not joking about that. I think that would be – we have some very nice and generous viewers of this thing.
Cool. Well, I'll be living on the street, so that's cool.
Man, look at your house, man. You're decked out over there.
I would love to hear Corey's opinion on the end zone. He left as the question came up last time. That's you pulled the Ted Cruz on us. You had to go be a dad. Man.
Brady really wanted to get away. He just wanted to go to a tropical locale.
Top 10?
What's
first off, end zone. You want to bring back the white end zone circa 1986, 96, 2006?
I'm trying to. I don't mind it the way it is. I'm having a hard time. Maybe it's because Florida State hasn't been in it a lot lately. I'm having a hard time remembering what it looks like now compared to what it used to. Like, what's the major difference?
Come on.
I did like that, man. I like that a lot. And what was cool about that end zone is the end zone started before the white, but a lot of the opposing players thought that the white was the end zone. But there's a line, you can barely see it, but the end zone actually starts maybe a yard in front of that white line. So, like, say William Floyd gets into the end zone, but he doesn't quite get into the paint. All the defenders would argue, like, no, what are you talking about? He's not even close to the end zone, because they didn't realize that they thought the end zone started at the white and it started a yard in front. So that happened like 5 or 6 times a year back when Florida State scored a lot of touchdowns. I like that, man. I like that look. What'd you say?
Yeah, absolutely, man. They brought it back, I think, for the Virginia Tech game, or at least the spring game. I think Salt and Pepper throwback. Willie's big coming out. Right. They did that, but yeah, now it's like the Nike FSU font, just which looks nice, but that was something else, man. That was something else. I'll try to find a photo of it to compare. In the meantime, Khalil, Mr. Retro, Mr. Top 10 FSU defensive backs, 2009 to 2019. Khalil says LaMarcus Joyner, Xavier Rhodes, Jalen Ramsey, Derwin James, Greg Reed, PJ Williams, Ronald Darby, Nate Andrews. Now I'm stuck between Terrence Brooks, T-Time. Who's T-Time?
Tavares McFadden, maybe?
Okay. Levante Taylor, Marquez White, etc.
I would throw Patrick Robinson on that list for sure. He played in 2009. He's still in the league. I mean, that dude's 30-something years old and is still cashing a check, so good for him. I definitely would throw him in there. I just wouldn't have, just because I think Nate at his best maybe belongs in that class, but his last 2 years he was so hurt. I don't know that he belongs on the same list with those guys. I'm sure there's somebody that we're completely forgetting about. Does Asante count? And Nasruddin, I would put Nasruddin in before Nate Andrews. And Marquez White was pretty good, man. And Levante Taylor was good the year before he was really bad. Like, really good. I don't know what quite happened there his last year, but he was really good as a sophomore. So I think Asante Samuel belongs included at least in the conversation. And Terrence Brooks is a really good one. I'll ride and die with Terrence Brooks. He's one of my all-time favorite people to watch and people to talk to and cover. So we'll throw Terrence Brooks in there for sure. But there's like 7 no-brainers, 7 or 8 no-brainers. You're just arguing over 9 and 10. I would throw Asante in there and probably Patrick Robinson. Patrick Robinson was just stuck on a horrible defense. Yeah. Much like Asante, they could commiserate.
There's the end zone, Corey.
I mean, that's pretty sharp too now.
Yeah.
I know. I like the white one. The white one to me is more fun. Maybe it's just because it reminds me of back then, but it just seems more fun and more, I don't know, just like you're having a good time. We're having a good time here. We're dancing in this white end zone that's different than everybody else. That's too classy almost. That Florida State script right there in the garnet. I just think the white is more of a circus-like atmosphere, which is what the offense was back then, man. They were just ripping bombs all the time, scoring 50 and 60 points a game.
Sterling Holland giving a shout out to Ira. Can we get some how long you've been knowing Odell merch?
Dude, I would wear that. I would probably wear that every day. I would wear that every day, just the Irish O'Fell underneath.
Mike Dale in the house. Hey, Mike, thanks, man. Thanks, appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Mike. Thank you, for real.
$20. Does Florida State have the most to lose in terms of recruits if they were to have a bad season? Thanks for all you guys do.
Look, perhaps because I think it's because if they have a decent season, what the possibilities are. Like, they seem endless at this point. Like, you already got essentially 2 5-stars already locked and loaded. And what's going to happen if you start off 5-1? How many more people are going to get in the boat? You're going to have some serious excitement. You're going to have momentum. You're going to prove that things are on the uptick. And as much as these guys believe in Norvell, seemingly, if they start off 2-3 or 3-2 and lose to Wake and don't look good doing it and still look sloppy as all get out on defense, then I think you have a lot to lose. My counter to that, though, is that, and we talked about this on headlines, it's not like Travis Hunter and I just forgot the kid's name, the kid that just committed, Sam.
Oh.
It's not like they committed to a program that was 8-2 last year. They committed to a program that's 3-6. So they know what they're they know what they're getting into. It's not like the kids in 17 that were committed to Jimbo and they're like, oh God, what is this? They're 3-6 and he might leave. They know what program they're joining. So whether they're, 4-8 probably wouldn't be great. But if they're 6-6, 5-7, 6-6, but they lose some really close games and they look a lot more competent and a lot more explosive on offense and at least coordinated on defense, I don't know that you lose a ton. If you just got to look better, man. Results, I guess, will matter some, but if you just look better, you think that maybe you can keep most of the kids because they're joining a program that they know is down. That part of the allure of going to Florida State is to build it back up. So I don't know that they would be. I don't know if they can be convinced. Look, if you're Dan Mullen or if you're Clemson, you're Kirby Smart, and you can try to recruit against Travis Hunter by just saying, "Look, man," but he knows that already. Like, you can send him. Like, if I was Kirby Smart, I would just send Travis Hunter every day the YouTube clip of the name a game, the pit game, just the condensed game. But he already knows that. Like, you're not giving him any new information. He knows that Florida State struggled last year. He knows they're trying to rebuild the roster. So I feel like if you're already committing to Mike Norvell in February or March of 2021, you're committed to the long picture.
Yes, but if the long picture doesn't look good, if it doesn't start off good in 2021 and you end up 5-7, I don't know. They are committing to a brighter future for Florida State. They want to be part of it. And listen, Michael Langston knows more about this than I do. Michael Langston does not agree at all with what I'm about to say. Michael Langston thinks these guys like Travis Hunter are sold out to Florida State to the nth degree, times 10. But we'll see, man. We'll see if you lose to Louisville and North Carolina State and, whomever else, if a guy that's got Kirby Smart and Nick Saban calling him every day is going to be like, all right, maybe I'll go visit them and see what happens. I hope not. I truly hope not. But yeah. I think that, yeah, man, they are believing in a better, brighter future. Well, it needs to be better and brighter immediately, I think, to keep on to that momentum. Yeah, the 3-6 is in the rear view, crazily enough. Like, that didn't hurt Mike Norvell at all. But if he can't move it in a good direction quickly, I think there'll be hesitation, and then,
I think a lot of it is how it looks, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you can go 6-6 and get, if Clemson beats you by 100 and Florida beats you by 50, or you can go 6-6. I think that's a different 6-6 than if you go 6-6 and lose 4 really close games and lose on a field goal or have some bad breaks. You just have to look better, man. You just have to look better. You have to look like you're improving. The players have to look like they're getting better and more physical and stronger and faster. I think that will sell itself. Results matter, but I think only to a point because, again, they know they're not joining a national championship program right now. Just don't fall on your face.
Yes. I think this is going to be Wes in the Villages. We don't have a call screener tonight, but they've had 23 total phone calls according to warchant.com stats and info. So I'm going to guess it's none other than Wes in the Villages, Mr. Promo. Wes, that you?
It is. Good evening, fellas.
Good
What's up, Wes?
Yeah, you got it. That's me. I was going to ask you if you had a count for me. I figured it was in the 20s, so that was how. There you go, 23. That's a good number.
Yeah.
So Corey, you had to bolt on Thursday night on the live call-in show, and so I was the last caller. I got mixed up on the start time, and I snuck in and got to shut it down. I cut a killer promo. It was pretty awesome. Aslan will attest to that.
Oh, great, that's awesome.
Yeah. Anyway, my question, I got a question about spring ball for tonight, but just real quick, from Thursday night, there was a report that came out that basically ranking the top 4 football programs in the state, and they had Norvell last as far as with regard to recruiting. And of course, that I'm sure they weren't considering the transfers that he got this year. So that list to me is a little skewed. Michael, like me, says that by the time next year rolls, he believes that Norvell will be the number 1 recruiter in the state of Florida. And I just wanted to get your thoughts on where you kind of see him at this point, all things considered, and where you project he'll be, going forward.
Look, I think that what he's done on the transfer market and then what he's doing early in this class, I guess it's not that early, the way college football recruiting works, but what he's doing in this current class 2022 is truly remarkable, man. I think we can't overstate how tough it is to recruit when you don't have any relationships and you can't see anybody in person. And that's what he was faced with, his whole coaching staff. Well, like I said a couple weeks ago, now everybody's on the same playing field. You're all recruiting kids you don't have much of a relationship with. And so now that he's found himself on even footing with the people he's recruiting against, he's doing a bang-up job, man. He really is. And so I project, if this is what we have, and I always have to couch it and qualify it by saying, if we start seeing results on the field. But if we even start seeing 2008 and 2009 results on the field, 2007 to 2009, if just Florida State can have that run for the next 2 years, I think it has a chance to really take off. Just judging from what you're seeing here, man, I'm really impressed with what he's done and what he's doing, and they're still in the running for a lot of big names, some legacies, and I think one recruiting class begets another great recruiting class, begets another one. So if they land a top 10 or 8 class this year, and then they go into next year, they have a nice season where they win 7 or 8 games, nothing special. I think it's just going to feed itself, right? Like, I don't think this is a fluke, what's going on. I think the guy is hyper organized. He knows what he needs to, he knows what he doesn't know, and he knows what he needs to do. And so far, a year onto the job, whatever we are, 14 months into the job, it certainly looks like it's improved a great deal from this time last year. It just does. So, and the transfers have a big part of that. I think Florida State fans should be really encouraged by how he was able to land some big time transfers, not just Milton, but other guys, the selling that he must have done there, and then how much he's selling these new recruits, because it certainly seems to be working. Did I lose Aslan? Did I lose everyone?
I'm here.
Okay,
I'm here, brother. I'm here.
Okay, good. I was frozen on the screen by myself, and I didn't hear Aslan or you, and I'm like, oh no, it's going to be a Corey soliloquy for the next 10 minutes. So, Aslan, you agree?
Yeah, man. Yeah, exactly. We love Mike Norvell. Rocket to the top of the moon. We're going there. 3 and 6 doesn't matter. It's all good.
I mean,
no.
All things considered, given the pandemic and the recruiting dead period and the rough season, and just when you look at everything he's had, the obstacles, and to be getting some of these commitments and the transfers, I mean, holy smokes, who would have guessed it? So I feel like sky's the limit. If there's a good product on the field in the fall, it'll just keep rolling, no doubt. So I think we all agree with that.
I mean, there's a chance.
Go ahead.
I was going to say there's a chance he might be really, really good. Like Florida State might have hit a home run with this dude, and it just looked awful in the first season. There is a chance. We don't know. There's not nearly enough. The sample size is too small. This year, I think, will tell us a lot on the field. But man, I just, like you said, to have that kind of season, an awful season, really, by any measure, and then to have what he's already injected into this program, talent-wise, and what seems to be on the way. Yeah, man, it's encouraging. It speaks of better days, and hopefully better days quickly.
Have you ever asked yourself, either one of you, ever asked yourself what would have happened if he would have got hired instead of Taggart, where we'd be right now?
No, I haven't. But I think, again, was not a fan of Willie's sort of blueprint or his mythology, or not mythology, but methodology rather. It's worth pondering. Definitely don't think they'd be. I mean, think about the recruits they could have been having in the last, year and a half. But if we're being honest, I don't know. I mean, 2017, I don't think Mike Norvell's resume was as appealing as Willie Taggart's, crazily enough, even though Taggart was under 500. Taggart was much more of a, you could see something maybe, you're a little bit blinded, hoping, intoxicated. The guy loves Florida, loves Florida State. But, hey, we are where we're at right now, Wes. Not worried about
I think you have to answer that, though, by saying, yes, they'd be in better shape. Otherwise, what are you doing with this guy?
Yeah.
If you don't think this guy's a better answer than the guy you just fired, and I know that's not really the question because you're asking for a personal opinion, but my personal opinion has to be yes, because if it's no, then what am I doing with my life? I'm tired of watching bad football, man. I know you are too. We get paid to do it, but I know as Florida State fans, you're tired of all this. So to think that, yes, if Norvell gets hired instead of Taggart, you have to convince yourself that absolutely they'd be in a better place. Is that true? Who knows? But otherwise, if the answer is no or maybe, then you're like, oh gosh, you got another guy that's just kind of mediocre that doesn't belong here, that can't get it done here quickly. So I don't know, man.
His messaging is closer to Jimbo's, but I wonder about the timing. Like, he would have come in as like Jimbo Light or like No Rings Jimbo. So they would have been like, we're going to listen to this guy. But again, I think he would have kept it closer to what Jimbo was trying to, on his house of cards, try to keep up and going, rather than Willie just like, hey man, let's just go out and make plays. Let's have fun. Let's remember why we played this game. Let's go out there and play Florida State football. Like,
he might have identified maybe addition by subtraction guys earlier, and so maybe the program is in better shape that in that regard the last 2 years. But it's an unanswerable question. But the answer needs to be absolutely they'd be in better shape, because otherwise that's really depressing.
Yeah. All right, Wes.
I agree with you. Real quick, so spring ball starts in 1 week, and I don't know if Alzon can pull it up, but the Josh Storms effect this offseason is legit. Emmett Rice is up to like 235, and they've been posting a lot of pictures and workout videos of Milton squatting like 300 pounds with no knee brace. And so my question is, with spring ball starting next week, which position group are you guys most excited about to see the benefits of the off-season workouts and what they do during spring ball that will culminate in the spring game? Who are you most looking forward to for growth and improvement?
I mean, that's hard, man. I guess I'd say offensive line. I mean, it's been 4 months now. Because they're starting to come on, and if they're as good as the coaches act like they are, and they're bigger and stronger, that should help. But so many of the guys I'm looking forward to see, Wes, are guys that I didn't see last year because they were transfers. That's what I'm kind of really interested in. As far as a position group, like the DBs, you're going to have 3 new guys that we didn't know. We don't know what they looked like last year. I think 3, maybe 4. I can't remember how many DBs they brought in on the transfer market. But my initial answer to that question is probably the offensive line. I want to see if they're bigger, fatter. I want fat offensive linemen. I want them to be strong, obviously, but I want them to look like Landon Dickerson. Would you call Landon Dickerson fat, Aslan?
No.
Like if you saw him in a bar and you didn't know who he was, would you say, man, that's a pretty fat guy, or would you say that's just a huge guy?
No, but that's big bone country strong dude.
Yeah, that's probably right. Yeah, and I definitely would never call Landon fat to his face.
Yeah, I saw a video of him literally doing a one-legged squat on a box. They call it pistols, where you squat on one leg and then you hold your other leg out front of you. He's holding onto his toe, and I mean, it's not even fair. He's ridiculous. I try to pull up videos that Wes was talking about, but I don't know. Josh Storms is a provocateur. He does whatever you can do on Instagram to where it disappears after like an hour. So none of it's there any longer. But yeah, man, there's guys doing stuff in the gym that's pretty impressive. So hopefully it pays off. Hopefully it pays off, man, sooner than later. All right, Wes, we're going to keep this thing rolling, man. Thanks for the call.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, fellas, y'all have a good evening. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe to Warchant, and don't forget to drink your delicious DeLuna coffee. Go Noles. Have a good evening, fellas.
Nice. Wes bringing it home.
That's Cutson, man. Cuts promos, what he does, man. It's what he does. We got 2 callers left. Let me go. Someone just snuck in. Bryson. Bryson snuck in there. I found the button when you went away, Corey. I know how to cut the phone lines off now. So,
you made Bryson feel great, I think, right there.
We snuck in there. It's 55 minutes. We got some people who posted comments, and then we got some other calls. So it's probably another 20 minutes of show coming up. So get comfortable, everybody. On YouTube, look at James B's back. James
Let's go.
B is back.
What? Bang! Bang! Cash rules everything around me. Bring it the money.
Dollar bills, y'all.
100 American dollars from James B. James B, find my email address. Email me. For real, email me. I got something to tell you. Hello to everyone. Sorry I've missed the last couple of shows, but I have a new job. Hopefully this will come on, man. Don't apologize for living your life. You know, you got a mortgage payment. You know, you got to pay it.
I don't know if James B has a mortgage payment. I think people pay James B their mortgage payments or something like that.
Might be paid off. Sounds like you're talking about the spring game now, so I'm curious what the COVID protocols will be by that time.
So that would be early April. I mean, look, man, it might be, you know, ever the barn's open, everybody can just come and do what. I think it would be more like it was for the fall. You know, mask, maybe, I don't know that masks would be required, but encouraged. And you have a third capacity, which really for a spring game, that's fair. You have a third capacity, which is 27,000 or so, 26, 25,000. And that's what you'd have at the spring game. That's what I think the protocols would be. I think they'd try to do it just like they did in the fall. There's no reason right now, in my opinion, to just venture away from it. Just do what you did that worked in the fall.
This sounds probably stupid, so I apologize in advance.
By the way, everyone, just so you know, the West Virginia Baylor game is 80-79 with 40 seconds left, so that's why I keep peeking over.
Right.
Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Is it worth it? Can you do 75% seating? Like they were at 25% because they had to do social distancing, right? I figure like was that not the most they could put in the stadium while following CDC guidelines? Like, to me, it feels like you're either going to keep it the way it was in the fall of 2020, or it's 2019. Like, I don't like. Can you do 50% capacity and
probably
still 6 feet apart?
Oh, I don't know about that, but you know, maybe. I mean, I think it's going to be wide open here very soon.
Yeah.
And that's a month away. Again, it's a month away. We're vaccinating 2 million people a day at this point. So, you know, you're talking about another, I don't know, 35, 40 million people having both shots by this time next month. So it might just be wide open, and they'll do 50% or they'll do 40%. But I do think there'll be a spring game with people in the stands, maybe as many as we had at any game last year, maybe more, probably more actually.
But that's the thing, though. I mean, I don't want to belabor this. We can keep the show moving on. But James asked, like, can you put 40,000 people in Doak and keep them 6 feet apart?
I don't think so. I don't think the math works for something like that.
That's my whole thing. So then it's like you either stay at 25% or you go. I mean, I don't like. So you let 50,000 people show up, but it's kind of like
we're also talking about a spring game. Is that even in the conversation? Are 50,000 people coming to this? You know. I think you're looking to top out at what would be a third capacity anyway, or 25% capacity or third capacity. It's a spring game for a 3-6 football team. I know we're excited about Mackenzie Milton, but it'll also be something you can watch on your iPad. So I think you're talking about 25,000, 30,000 at most trying to get in there anyway.
And I'm a risk adverse guy. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, like I'm usually got a 7 on things. When it comes to this, I don't know, man. I'm just like, let it ride until July or something. I don't know, man. Like it's working fine. Everyone's getting, people are getting vaccinated. Numbers are going down. Like, let's slowly get back as opposed to just being like, all right, But that's just me.
It is what it is. It is what it is. Look, I get it. I get that side of it, but I also get the side that we're 12 months into this, and the ending is so close that people just want to sprint to it. So I get that side of it too, man. I can't wait. I can't wait to go to a movie again. I want to go to a movie theater, eat some popcorn, watch the big screen instead of watching these awesome movies in something that's this big.
Somebody dropped off, so I don't know what happened, but
it was probably Bryson. What's the kid's? Okay, all right.
He's hanging around. Let's go to the phone lines.
Thank you, James B. Thank you very much, man. That's really nice of you.
We got this dude on the line. We got Mark Adamczyk, who dropped 50 bones and got on the phone line.
Straight cash, homie.
Mark, what's up, man?
What's up? Let's go.
Let's go.
What's up, Mark?
Man, I haven't been able to call in a couple weeks just for timing of stuff going on, but I'm sure glad I got through. I posted a question because I wasn't sure I'd get on the show, so I'll ask it if you don't mind. I read on the internet today that Rob Gronkowski and Teddy Bruschi are going to coach against each other in the Arizona spring game, which I think is a phenomenal idea. Maybe it's not a little too early for us to do this spring. We got to, kind of focus on getting back to getting these coaches on the field and getting the product improved. But in the future, if you think FSU would do that, who would you like to see? Which two legends coach against each other?
I think I got the perfect answer already, Aslan. Bobby Bowden versus Jimbo Fisher. Let's do it. Let's get the old band back together, man. Chuck Amato can be the DC. Jeff Bowden could be calling plays for Jimbo just to see how that dynamic works. Man, that's the thing, man. There's so many to choose from. I'd like Warwick Dunn versus Charlie Ward. I think that would be fun.
Drew Weatherford, Xavier Lee.
Yeah. Adrian McPherson, Chris Ricks. No, I think just because Warwick Dunn and Charlie's stories are so inseparable from each other, being roommates and in the 93 season, I think that would be a cool story to have them both coaching against each other. And good publicity maybe you do that for the 30-year anniversary of the 93 season, is you have Charlie Ward and Warwick Dunn coach against each other. I think those were good answers, right? Who'd you have, Mark? Who'd you want to see?
Yeah, I kind of like Winston versus Ward. I mean, you have two Heisman quarterbacks, two different generations. I think Jameis would have a blast with it and be all fired up. Ward would be on the other sidelines, all calm, cool, and collected.
Right.
Cool.
Oh, it's tied up, huh, Corey?
Yeah, they tied it up. I didn't see how they tied it up, but they tied it up. So now they're going to overtime.
Well,
what do you got, Aslan? What do you have for a choice?
Sorry.
Drew Weatherford and Xavier Lee, man. Let's settle this once and for all.
He said legends. They're not legends.
Drew Weatherford snapped the losing streak against Miami. Xavier Lee beat Nick Saban. I don't know what you use to define legend.
Those are all fair points. I apologize. Good point.
I'll take like Jameis. Yeah, Jameis versus like Ward would be pretty cool. Like Winky versus EJ or something. I don't know. They're not legend, I guess you could say. Can we get Randy Moss back? Does that count or no? I couldn't draft him, so that doesn't count your legend pick.
What about Darnell Dockett versus Chris Ricks? Do you remember that blow up from a few years ago where Chris Ricks said the thing about Dockett and he got so angry? That'd be a nice nice coaching matchup
on the Jay Moore show. Like it was like in the Jay Moore show. What the heck?
It was crazy. So yeah, that's a good question, Mark. We appreciate that, buddy.
You should bring it back for the third.
Yeah, man. I don't want to get your blood pressure up, Corey, while you're watching. You're doing the show, but I saw on the Tribal Council today that our buddy Dr. Dabo made some comment in a press conference about the transfer portal being for loser programs or something to that. I think that was another shot at FSU.
He didn't say, Mark, I saw the thread. It's Fear the Spear who lives in Clemson. He's got a really bad Clemson persecution complex. Like, he reminds me of my guy. There's a guy, Seminole Dynasty, somebody that he hates Florida more than he likes Florida State, which I'm totally cool with. But I went and it was like 3 or 4 days ago, unless he said something here in the last 24 hours. But he just said, like, we're not going to go that route. He's like, I'm not going to say never. He's like, but we believe in what we do, and we've been successful in what we've done. There was no shade thrown like programs that are using this or doing it because they're not there. I didn't see any of those quotes. The guy who started the thread didn't post any quote or any story. He was like, Dabo's throwing shade at us again. It's like, hey, man, just stop it.
I think I saw the quote. The quote was something like, we're not going to go, he'd never say never, but you have to be something special for us to go after you. We're not going to go for just like a backup. We're not going for backup plans or something like that. So, yeah, I didn't see the shade there. But, look, man, Dabo's already – I couldn't dislike Dabo any more than I do right now. I'm still mad about – hey, by the way, another ACC basketball game was canceled just tonight. Louisville and Virginia Tech, who are supposed to play tomorrow, which is kind of a big game for Florida State's purposes as far as trying to win the ACC regular season title because Virginia's Tech's right there with them. That game was canceled the night before the game. So I hope Dabo's okay with that. It was also like the 33rd game that's been postponed or canceled. So hopefully Dabo is okay with all that, and he's not calling Virginia Tech a bunch of babies for not wanting to play.
Yep. I mean, it's easy to run his mouth when he's on top. But
hey, man, yeah.
Look in another couple of,
Let's hope. Let's hope.
The show keeps getting better and better. Thank you for getting me on, and go Noles. And I'm going to order some Luna coffee soon. They have the K-Cups, so you can put it in your Keurig if you don't want to, brew it. So it's good stuff.
2 for 1, by the way, Mark. Put an even number in your shopping cart. It'll automatically deduct it. So it's buy one, get one. At least I know for sure on the Fat Albert and a couple other the blends on the K-Cup variety. You're welcome.
Oh, I wanted to mention Aslan. Aslan, you gave me a shout out the other night talking about I think it's Brett Lennox. I went to Tulane undergrad. I went to law school at Florida State, but I'd be happy to connect with him, and chat it up about the Green Wave.
Heck yeah. Man. People help the people, man. So we do. People help the people. Hey, Mark, we appreciate you, man. Hopefully we'll see you in a month for the spring game.
Yeah, I've got my hotel, just waiting to get tickets, and I'll be there, guys. Thanks.
Sounds good, man.
Nice. Thanks, buddy.
Now with that, man. Thank you. That's Mark in Naples. We've said his last name a bunch of times, but figured save some anonymity.
It's right there on the screen too.
It was. You're right. I try. All right. Last call of the evening. It is indeed none other than Bryson from Lake City. Bryson, thanks for hanging tight, slipping in there last second. Timing is everything in life. How are you, man?
Hey, man, I'm doing great, guys. Last time I called, I lived in Florida. Now I live in Tennessee.
Okay.
All right.
But
how do you like the new job? How do you like the new job, Bryson? Was it worth it?
I love it. It's a lot better than working at Chick-fil-A.
Hey-o.
Good call.
I was always a Zaxby's fan, so I stayed faithful to Zaxby's. I promise y'all that.
All right.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
Appreciates that. Danny appreciates that.
But anyways, I was just wanting to ask y'all 2 questions. One, I'm so I don't understand what everybody's saying about Dan Mullen being this great recruiter. The only good players I've seen on his team was players he hasn't recruited and was already on the team. I don't know what the hype is around him. I mean, I bet he's a good coach, but I just don't think he has the personality to really, truly recruit. But I'm so glad also that we saw that 5-star from the Gators. It felt great.
That's right.
And other than that, my second question is Corey said something about going to the theater to see a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering whose side y'all going to pick for Godzilla versus King Kong.
Man, that's a tough one. I think King Kong probably. He's a little more lovable. Godzilla, the only thing I know about Godzilla is he tortures Japanese folks. That's the only thing I've ever learned about that guy. He didn't fall in love with a blonde like King Kong did. So I just feel like King Kong, being caged up and everything and being dragged away from his home. I root for him. But the guy I don't know anything about the movie other than I saw on Twitter that they did say there was going to be a winner and a loser. It's not going to be ambiguous. They both won. It's not going to be like the end of Rocky III. We are going to know who won. So my answer is King Kong almost. That's a pretty simple one for me. Aslan, what do you got? You got Godzilla?
No, I think King Kong has a little more humanity to him. I go with King Kong. You know.
Yeah, King Kong seems like almost like a person. Godzilla's a monster.
Yeah. Bryson,
yeah.
Go ahead, Bryson. Go ahead.
I just want to know. I mean, I'm picking Godzilla.
Okay.
I've always loved Godzilla. I love dinosaurs growing up, so Godzilla was always.
Yeah. All right. Hey, that's fair. That's fair. Hey, we'll not everybody can be happy. Somebody's got to lose. Somebody's got to lose. And I would say about your first point, which I had a point. Now I can't remember what the first point was. Oh, about Mullen. That I don't know how many people think he's a great recruiter. I think he is a very good football coach. He took a team that was pretty bad and made them better than respectable immediately. He turned Felipe Franks into a nice quarterback. He turned a kid that had never played, didn't even start in high school, into like an All-American candidate at quarterback. I think he coaches quarterbacks really well, and he's a very good offensive mind. But you're right. I don't trust what he can do on the recruiting trail just because he's such an awkward, weird dude. But, man, even at Mississippi State, he produced offenses. And he should have paid the $200,000 to Cam Newton, and he'd probably still be at Mississippi State. He's Mississippi State then. But yeah, I get what you're saying. I don't know that he's going to ever knock it out of the park recruiting. But his offenses are always going to be pretty darn good if he's got a quarterback.
Yes, sir. Also, is there any other way to send money to the show other than YouTube?
I'll give you my Venmo here in a second. No, I'm just kidding. No, I don't think so, right, Aslan? I don't think so at this point, right?
No. It's just hit the thumbs up, Bryson. That's all we need, man.
And tell your friends. That's the payment we need. Tell your friends.
10 friends.
Of course, I tell them all the time. Listen to the show. I tell them every day.
Go ahead.
Those fighting Irish dude was stomp them in the dirt, man. I'll let y'all go.
Appreciate you. That's Bryson, Lake City, Florida. Now in Tennessee, but a Florida boy nonetheless. Thanks for the call, Bryson. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, again, it was 247 did it. They ranked Florida recruiters, and Norvell's like fourth, I think, ahead of Willie. So, you know.
Oh, all right. I mean, using just recent history, that seems low. Yeah. But we'll see. We'll see. He's still got. It's also a small sample size these last few months.
Shout out to Daniel, who loves his life.
Nice name.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you, Daniel. What a name.
Hope you're loving life. Eric Angel is back. Corey, can you come on? It's Baylor and West Virginia, man. Chill out.
They're trading threes. It's an exciting game.
$20 from Eric Angel. Says 14-0 unconquered 2021. It's Taco Tuesday. Florida State's Final Four bound. Hit the like button and grab your DeLuna coffee and go Noles. I mean, all
right, Eric Angel. Absolutely. I love the positivity, man. What a good way to go through life.
He said that he picked the Buccaneers to win the Super Bowl last year, like this time last year. So he was right about that.
Yeah, I think though. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's hope. Let's hope, man. I hope you're right on this one too. It seems like a bigger jump for the Bucs, who were, say 30 interceptions away last year from being pretty good last year, to getting rid of those 30 interceptions to this Florida State team that was 3-6 being a championship contender. But I'm all for it, man. I hope it happens. I'm rooting for it with you.
There we go. Ed's in the crib. Look, it's Ed in the house, everybody. Give it up for Ed, my friends.
Guys, this is a very special occasion. The Godfather himself has been kind enough to grace us with his presence. The Godfather. This is his damn house. He lives here. He sleeps 20 feet away.
Come on, Ed. $50. What are you doing, Ed? You're crazy, man. Love it. Did you guys see the post that the spring game is April 10th at 10 a.m.?
Wouldn't it make more sense to do it at 10 p.m.? Get a little more life and juice. I hope that's not. We did not see that post. I don't know if it just happened, if that's just been announced. We've been doing this live for the last, I feel like 4 hours. But we've been doing it live, so we did not see that post. But 10 a.m. would be bizarre.
I don't see anything on here. I'll try to maybe do some research. That would be suboptimal.
I won't go. Azon. I'm not getting up. I'm not getting up at 9 o'clock to go watch a spring game. Can't happen. Just kidding, folks. Can't do it. Won't do it. I mean, why not? Why not do that? They practice in the morning. Why not play their games in the morning? Maybe they can schedule their ACC games for 9:30 in the morning. See if ESPN's cool with that.
Like that's what they did to the poor Pac-10 or Pac-12. Like they have them playing like 8 a.m. games and stuff. That's ridiculous. I'm trying to pull up the Twitter machine on my phone. This is terrible. I apologize, everybody. But yeah, I don't see anything on there quite yet. You know, it's funny. I Googled or I searched on Twitter FSU spring game, and it sorts it by top, I guess, most generated traffic posts. The first one is from last year for the spring game. That never happened. The second one is a tweet from a guy that's got a photo of 2026 athlete Brady Clark, who is here for the FSU spring game. No leaders at this point, but will likely be an FSU UGA battle till the end.
All right, nice. That guy sounds funny. Yep, there he is. Cool. There he is. Good old Brady Clark.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, Ed.
Ed, you're the man. You didn't have to do that. You know that. That's very kind of you, buddy.
Those tumblers look really sweet. Can't wait to get them.
They do, man. Those are sharp.
Right. The garnet pops off the white, man.
I'm telling you, man. Those are sharp.
Shane is back with 100. What, Shane? What are you doing?
What?
He got a new job. He likes his new job, right? Or no, that was James B. Shane's just the man.
Shane's tipping us at work, said not to say anything. He doesn't want his boss to find out. Shane, thanks so much, man. Again, I will be DMing you on Warchant.
Yep. DM him your new address when you buy the new house.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We go into.
He could co-sign. He could co-sign with you.
He probably could. Everybody should have you all have equity in it. Y'all can crash, crib, and you can rotate. Y'all can pick what game you want to stay in the guest room in. It'll be great.
Right.
Shane just says, everyone hit the thumbs up, subscribe to Warchant, get that amazing DeLuna coffee. Thank you for everything, guys. Well, thank you, man. It's incredible, man. It's how humbling. Yeah. We're just here talking about the Noles, and you just throw American dollars in my face. Charles Edwards says, go Noles with $50 behind it.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Big ballin', smashing, making my ends.
50 bills. What's up, Charles? Thank you, man. Thank you very much. Now we got, I'm sorry, people are saying 4 p.m. spring game on ESPN. I don't know. We don't have anything official on that. Everybody chill out. Well, chill out. Spring game is April 10th. No tickets on sale yet, but we don't know the kickoff time either. So we'll be okay. It's going to be all right.
Either way, we'll know way in advance, and we'll cover it immensely like we do at Warchant.
Yeah, I mean, literally, it's what we do. It's our job. It's our job. Covering inside, front, and back. What we got going on tomorrow night? Basketball game at 9 p.m., Corey?
Basketball game at 9 p.m. Florida State could improve to 15-4, 11-3 in the conference, I think, which would give them one step closer to winning a second straight ACC regular season title. It's against Boston College, who might be without their two best players. They did beat Notre Dame. Not that probably at least their two best players, but they did beat Notre Dame on Saturday 94-90. And those are the next two teams that Florida State plays, is Boston College and Notre Dame. So you would have to imagine if they gave up 90 to Notre Dame, Florida State should be able to score some points tomorrow night, and then obviously on Saturday against Notre Dame as well. So win that game, you're feeling good about things. And congrats to Leonard Hamilton for his new contract.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you want to mention anything about that specifically, or we good?
No, just I would say the thing I wrote after it happened. He's only getting paid $2.25 million and only trust me, in base salary. But the incentives are out. The incentives are incredible. Like if they win the ACC regular season title, which is very close to happening, that's $150,000. If he makes the NCAA tournament, just makes it, it's $200,000. If he wins the ACC tournament, it's another $150,000. If he makes the Sweet 16, it's like $200,000. Like if they make it to the Sweet 16, he's probably going to get an extra $875,000 to his contract, which makes him more in line with his actual peers in coaching. Like right now, if you use his base salary, he's like 54th in the country behind Brad Brownell and 8 other ACC coaches. But if you add in all the incentives that seem like they would be almost locks at this point, like finishing in the top 20 in the country and things like that, winning 60% of his ACC games, you're looking at him being around $3 million a year, which is more in line with where he should be. So it's very incentive laden, which I love. because those are great contracts for everyone.
That's what Jim Harbaugh did in Michigan too. Like, took a big pay cut, and he's like, "I'll make it all incentive based." So that's put your money where your mouth is. If you're a coach, it's a bold move. Good for him.
And that's why I said in the column, if only they had made Willie's incentive based, he'd owe Florida State money. It'd be the other way around, man. But they didn't. So they're paying him $300,000. They probably just sent him the check today or yesterday.
All right, we're done. Thank you to everybody for watching. Hit the thumbs up on your way out. Thank you to Charles, Shane, Ed, Eric, Daniel, Mark, James, Mike, Khalil, Pacific Northwest Knoll, Rocket City Knoll, Joseph in Huntsville, Alabama, which Space Camp was indeed based on Huntsville, Alabama, and Garrett's Knowles. Thank you all for your time, your generosity, and just your overall interest in this sports team that we get to cover. It's pretty cool. We're going to do a show for you folks on Thursday and Friday as well, probably. Get you ready for the spring football season. He is Corey Clark. I'm just a guy named Aslan. You've been watching Wake Up Warchant, fueled by DeLuna Coffee. DeLunaCoffee.com. Explore their world of coffee. Catch up with you all later.